I was watching Julie Green recently, and God had said on there some things about the CIA. On the one, he said NBC is CIA. Another, he was just saying that CIA, he's going to get rid of this whole situation, but I think they even call themselves the situation sometimes. He said that they whacked JFK and then whacked that other guy, the Patsy, they blamed it on. He said it's them doing all this. They've been running the government for years. If you look in the background with this stuff, like with you talked about George Bush, Bill Clinton, this establishment and the CIA, you see they're always in league with the foreigners and the gypsy slave trade and the nasty stuff and the CCP and the CDC and the WHO, all the globalist losers and their fake causes and their fake charities and their fake daycares. They're all like CIA. I just want to tell everybody I think we should 100% just defund them, because they've been basically extorting the whole government. They've been gaining this worldly power. What is worldly power is nothing, you know. Well, you guys are gonna burn in hell for your fake worldly power because you're a bunch of whack job control freaks that are never satisfied. You know, I don't care what your sick urges are. I don't care what Satan wants. Doesn't mean a fuck to me. You know, I'm for killing the fucking CIA unless they're some exception. You know, maybe those ones I heard of that were supposedly stealth bombing Venezuelan terrorists out in the desert. Those guys could stay. But I'd say put them into like a special ops unit in the military or something. Maybe get some of them blended into ICE and start sponge bombing these scumbags on a smaller level in the country. I'm for that. Bombs don't scare me. Control bombings, no. I know. When I lived in Philadelphia, I could go up and down those blocks and say all the houses. I could say I would probably. My gut instinct is pretty much right on them, and I'd say I'd know which one's a sponge bomb pretty much. I'm sure the old police commissioner knows which one's the sponge bomb also. Before that Daniel Outlaw was put in, that guy, I saw him walking around the neighborhood, going in some of those houses. And he stepped down not long after. I wrote him a letter, and the next week he stepped down. Odd. He did mention God, though, on the news, on the CIA, NBC News. He said, I can't explain why, but my God knows why. If you look into it, you'll figure it out. It's obvious, you know, it's probably exactly what you would guess. But the point is, I'm for getting rid of extortion scumbags. If people want to run extortion and then try to abuse, like, terrorists, like, the population into this, have satanic daycares where they rape little babies and they hit them with the brown sauce and the Spanish fly, and then they're poisoning people's, you know, water and this and that and the other. They look at what the CIA hires in every single sect. You know, it's like they got people in all this shit. Greedy little scumbags want to get their greasy fingers. They want world domination. Oh, we'll control. Oh, we'll take control. Someone like me believes in God. I do pretty well, even though I'm poor in money. Why? Despite all of their disgusting evil attacks over the years, or their gross plans, or their whatever. Why? Because I just trust the Lord. See, these people can't just do that. If they would just stop being such serial killer, OCD, psychopath control freaks, having to what else I can do. If they would just chill. You know, also like world travel, I call them like the International Ballers Club, like the P. Diddy people and all that. You know, all these gypsies and ballers and scumbags are CIAs and all that. They're the ones most of the time swirling around in boats and planes and, you know, going all over the place for all their little awards. They try to validate each other by making little groups and saying, ooh, we're big and we're popular, we're professional, we'll tell you. Ooh, we're the doctors with the fake vaccines. Bill Gates, he's obviously a fucking serial killer lunatic. He likes injecting little black kids with shit and needles, obviously. It's like Ed Buck's in prison for that over there. You know? He was injecting crystal meth into young black guys. But I think Bill Gates' problem is very similar. But he did it in a professional way, so he didn't go to prison for it. But I can see right through this scumbag. You like tearing flesh and little black kids. Something wrong with you. You know? Not that he likes little black kids, it's not normal alike. Okay? They don't really like these kids. You get it? Of course, many of us get it. But I think we absolutely should defund them. The CIA, all this China CCP, no, they've been controlling it. Bush, look up that Paul Bonacci guy. Remember Johnny Gosh? Well, Paul Bonacci was someone who knew him. And if you look up about 5 or 6 videos on him and spend a few hours researching this guy, you'll start to get the picture. Well, Bush was involved with all this. They had all these kids mind controlled to do whatever they want. This kid was sometimes, they're sucking those guys' dicks. They had him walking around thinking he was free, but he was a mind slave. He was bound to them. So he would go home and visit his mother every few years and make an appearance. But he had been, disappeared originally. And he's telling this cop in the one interview this story, and it's like, what did they do to this kid? And it's like, you kind of get the point, something terrible. And there was, videographers involved, and they're, mind control shit. It's like, again, this whole, abuse porn, snuff porn, torture porn, all that going on. It's really not hard with the modern technology, to track all these people down and get rid of them all. But that's the whole issue, is that they were the people in charge very much. And so, though they could have done that, they wouldn't, because it was them too. We need not them in control. So if a big root, especially in our country, is CIA, which is all up in foreign shit, because they were supposed to be doing things involving foreign nations to try to get information to protect us from terrorism, but instead what they've really been doing is doing terrorism. So they said they were doing this, they've been draining the tax money. I can't even afford an apartment in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and I work. And for years, these commies and their corporations always trying to limit my hours, not pay me. The minimum wage here, I think, is still $7.25 an hour. That's literal organized wage slavery. This is America. Slavery was abolished in the 1800s. God doesn't want slavery here. I think the slavery here was kind of just to build the country. And if in the old days with the Bible, when there was slaves in the Old Testament, he said, slaves, be good, and slave masters, be good to your slaves, because their slaves will judge the slave masters. So there was something to it where there was slavery employed, but often at times what I think is God had slavery involved to actually build civilizations, like an organized workforce, and it is like a living sacrifice, like a service. But it's not something he likes, though, he's a God of freedom and peace. He doesn't really want you to have to live in bondage. He doesn't really like that. But he might have had it done a few times to build certain nations. I feel like with America, with the United States, he did it that way and had the slaves help build the nations. I could pretty much guarantee you those slaves judged their slave masters, just like it said in the Old Testament, because, same God. But what's been going on has just been them constantly trying to rebel and go against God and make lies. God is not of lies. God and Jesus hate a liar, as it says in the Bible. The devil's the father of lies. Okay? All the fake news and all the distractions, and then they pumped everybody full of drugs, crack, coke, porn, then a whole bunch of lab-made drugs, evil report, casting witchcraft on people, trying to get them to fall into all that. Oh, you're gonna die. This. Then they're trying to force poison into everything because Lucifer's a liar and a cheater. If we're just fine as we are in nature or supernature with God, they go so far. Oh, no one's getting sick, no one's dying. Oh, now let's start they start kidnapping people, putting them in CCP concentration camps and biolabs and the animals and all, and trying to force things to happen that God would never make those things happen. Those things don't even happen in nature. They tried to make everything like a sick. It's the work of Satan. It's serial killers and Satan. Satan doesn't make sense. Serial killers don't make sense. You know, a righteous killer who kills terrorists and wicked witches that burn children in cauldrons and stuff is a good person. But them, they don't make sense. See, the good person knows now you can't let those witches burn the kids in the pots. Somebody's got to go shoot the witches. That's what I'm saying is with all these gypsy, baby selling, adrenochroming, blood drinking, vampire wannabes and demonoid, whatever the hell they have going on. Their little fake religions. It's like, again, what are you guys going to bust the golden calf out and bow down? And what does Bohemian Grove had going on? Something like that. The thing is, all the rape and incest and torture and then murder and snuff porn and fraud going on, and everyone trying to hodgepodge. Look, Obama is like a crackhead. Okay, so yeah, like crackhead. The CIA would be like, oh, put the crackhead guy that likes dick sucking hot dogs and a tranny to Satan. That's a satanic mockery, is when they think, oh, they'll never know, but ooh, we're making your nation, we did this. It's that satanic. They try to, you know, oh, a fake first lady, oh, ha, ha, ha. This guy's really into hot dogs and crack. That's the CIA's idea of a president. No. And the CIA was telling, God said the CIA was just telling the presidents what to do. They were using them all as puppets. They were looking for people that like hot dogs and crack because they're easy to control. Okay? So they find serial killers, cannibals, adrenochromers, pedophiles, which is more common, total fiend junkies for this stuff. Then they trap them and extort them and get the film, and then they just say, now you do what we all tell you. And they all work together in it. I'm not okay with something like that, and I don't care about money. Money doesn't matter to me. You know, I want more people to get like me. Like, you can't play these games with me. And if I see any of you doing that type of shit, I'll kill you. And that's from the bottom of my heart. I'm not stupid. You know, I'm not putting up with this fucking goddamn murder club, witchcraft, fucking pay to murder and whatever. Fucking the one guy with the Leon Black who's biting the kid's vagina. I mean, you hear Human Abedin and the Frazzle Drip. You know, Anthony Weiner's wife with Clinton. You know, then you got the Wahhabi Muslim family of hers over there with the genital mutilation. I heard about that email with the Leon Black and the biting the 8-year-olds. Yeah, and I'm thinking, like, this is like, it's like oral, physical, like, genital mutilation and shit. It's demonic fucking torture shit. Like, that is not your normal shit. That is not good. I have to think these people are going to burn in hell, at least for some time. Not that there's time in hell. There's really not. That's what makes it so torturous, is certain things are stripped away in hell. And, God will make sure you do not enjoy it. He doesn't want to have to put people down there. God's not, you know, if Satan wants you to go down there because he hates everyone, you know, he's fucked already. He has nothing. He doesn't even have a body. He whispers ideas into people's heads. Don't take to his stupid ideas, you know. Hopefully soon. See, the thing is, if people themselves would just speak carefully and come from the heart and not get into like the horror movie, CIA, cult, fake culture of popular culture. What was that, like movies like what they have, Hostel and stuff. Like, the thing is, like, for me, when I saw horror movies as a kid, it taught me if there's ever a bad person tracking you down, I have dreams about something like that, kill that person, you know. I've had dreams where I've killed bad people. The thing is, for them, though, I think they watch these movies and I think they look at it from the other end because they're evil and they like the darkness, and then they sit there watching people get killed and tortured and they actually feed off it. Like, vampire porn is what I call most of the television that was going on for years, and I started calling it that years ago. So this is vampire porn. The subtler part is that it's just negative energy bullshit, and it doesn't all have to be tearing flesh and ripping people up with knives. It's that sometimes it's strife. sometimes it's cheating. You know, they have a show called Cheaters, and, you know, people's drama and negativity, and strife is beyond gossip. It's like gossip can go two ways. It can be good or bad. Sometimes gossip's good because sometimes the word needs to be spread and move. So some gossip is good. But strife is worse than gossip. It's like intentionally trying to cause like her and this and that's because it's Satan under that. Under the strife is Satan. God is not a strife person. God is a righteous, loving God. You know. Alright, well, I'm just saying fuck the CIA. I'm fine with killing them all. I don't even care. I say cut through the bullshit and do it as quick as possible. All they've done is kill and disease and destroy. I hate biolabs. What they've done to these animals even alone, I say that is some satanic fucking witch shit. And, oh, do you guys think you can run rackets in it? And then they would want to do that to us. And if you look at the CIA and the KGB and the MK Ultra and some of the stuff they already did do to people, and then China, which isn't really crazy about its secrets getting out of the bag, but all the concentration camps, and Obama knows about that apparently, says some court records. But concentration camps in China, you know, imagine what they've really been doing to people and stuff. You know, the thing is, it's the animals and the people, they would do it to either one of us. That's why there's no good science in it. All they're doing is terrorism. They're whack jobs. A lunatic serial killer psychopath just thinks, oh, we'll cut the body, put these numbers and lines in it, oh, da-da-da. None of that makes sense. They're psycho. Now, often they flip, and when they're not killing someone or doing something horrible like that, they'll be, oh, da-da. The one guy I was watching an interview today, again, on the Epstein's, etc. email list, the one guy was like, oh, he's some type of well-respected doctor or something. It's like, this guy's a doctor, yeah, but the CIA, you should look at them and say they're all actors and liars, and they have 7 different aliases. The foreign ones have even more, probably up into the 20s. The crime people, the kid fucking, pedo pimping, human traffickers. And I don't like this because I know they were in Philadelphia when I lived there years ago. I would start calling it Terrorist Village about 2016, 2017, 2018. So this is terrorism. I could tell there's terrorists around. I heard people talking about things. I could tell. I've been at war since then. That's when I went to war and I started to become more outward righteous and strict, but stricter, because don't give them an inch, you know. But I'm for whacking them all. I'm for that. So I would want Trump, this message is now to Donald Trump, whack them all, have